Here we are, part 2. Okay, so as promised, part 2 is reading, writing, and rounding decimal numbers. I'm going to work my way from left to right with explaining this lesson, and we're going to start with reading, like how to actually read a decimal number. Usually what you would hear is 48.47, but the way you would read it is 48 and, means your decimal means and, 47 hundredths. So the number 7 is in the hundredths place, therefore you end your reading with hundredths. So let's do it again. 48 and 47 hundredths. And that's with THS, okay? So how do I write 48 and 47 hundredths in word form? So what you do is you write it how you read it. That's actually a nice little rap. You write it how you read it. Got it? Write it how you read it. So let's do that. Let's write it how we read it. 48 and 47 hundredths. So let's do it. 48 and, because my decimal means and 47 hundredths. Okay? 48 and 47 hundredths. Okay? Let's move on to the fun part, rounding. So it says round to the nearest tenth. So you come over here and look at this number. You have your tens, your ones, your tenths, and your hundredths. So if you're gonna round to the nearest tenth, which your 4 is in the tenths place, you have to go and look next door. So next door there's a 7, and the 7 is gonna help us round to the nearest tenth. So you go next door. If next door is 4 or less, you are going to let the 4 rest. If next door is 5 or more, you're gonna add to your score, which means this 4 will turn into a 5. So again, when we're rounding to the nearest tenth, we have to look at the number in the hundredths place. If the number in the hundredths place is 4 or less, you're gonna let this 4 rest. If the number in the hundredths place is 5 or more, you're gonna add to the score, which means this 4 will become a 5. So we can all see that the number is 7, which is 5 or more. Therefore, our 4 will become a 5. We're gonna add to the score. So our 4 becomes a 5. Any number after the number we rounded to becomes a 0. And then you copy the remaining numbers. So bring your decimal down and bring down 48. So then we read this number as 48 and 50 hundredths. Okay, let's try another one. Let's make sure that we're understanding what's going on here. Let's try another one. This time we're gonna round to nearest hundredth. So let's change our number and let's try this again. So we're gonna say nearest hundredth. And we're gonna make our number 325.123. So 325 and 123 thousandths. Okay? And then we're gonna rewrite that number here. And then we're gonna rewrite it over here so that we can read it as well. Don't want to leave anything out. Okay? So, again, we read this number as 325 and 123 thousandths. The 3 is in the thousands place, so we end our reading with thousandths. Okay? We're going to write this in word form. So again, you write it how you read it, okay? So 300 25 and, because our decimal means and, 100 23 thousandths. And remember, thousands ends with THS because it's part of a number. So 325 and 123 thousandths, you write it as the way I read it. 325 and 123 thousandths. Okay? Moving on. Let's round this number. So we're gonna find the number. This is our hundredths, and we're rounding to our nearest hundredth. So again, you go next door. So if I'm rounding to the nearest hundredth, I'm gonna look in the thousands place to help me round to the nearest hundredth. The 2 is in the hundredths place. So the number in the thousands place is gonna determine if I'm going to stay at a 2 or if I'm gonna go up to a 3. So remember, the rules are, if the number next door is 4 or less, you're gonna let the 2 rest. If the number next door is 5 or more, you're gonna add to the score, which means the 2 will go up to a 3. But in this case, the number next door is a 3, which is 4 or less, so we're gonna let our 2 rest. So we're gonna recopy our 2, and remember, anything after the number you rounded becomes a 0, and then you're just gonna recopy all your other numbers. So now we will read this number as 325 and 120 thousandths, okay? So that's pretty much it. Until next time, I love each of you. Again, if you have to reach out to me, use Dojo, use Google Classroom, email me directly. I will also post another assignment aligned with this lesson on Google Classroom for you all to complete. Until next time, mwah.